Welcome to another stimulus check update. In this one we have a lot of breaking news, a lot of key points to go over since that last stimulus video I did. And if you haven't seen any of my stimulus videos yet, they will all be down below in the description. You're going to want to watch some of those before watching this video, but here we go. And as a side note, I do want to thank all of you guys for your continuous support. My channel is actually now monetized, so you might have actually seen an ad in front of this video, as well as maybe some within this video and at the end. So I greatly appreciate all the support. It greatly supports me, and I will see you very, very soon when I have a brand new studio set up, totally different than what you're seeing right now. And so your continuous support will allow me to do that and enable me to get that new studio, and I'm so very thankful and appreciative of all of you guys. But if you are brand new here, be sure that you do click that subscribe button. I post videos every single week without fail, well over a year now, year and a half, coming on 2 years. I've never missed a video ever in the last 2 years. So be sure that you do subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. That will allow you to be notified every single time I do make a new video. So thank you very much for that as well. It has now been going on 4 months since the CARES Act was passed back in March. That was the package that gave us that first and only so far stimulus check of $1,200 to almost every American. And now Congress is gearing up to pass another one and inject more stimulus back into the economy. But now we're actually seeing a divide within the White House itself. We covered earlier when Trump told Fox Business that he wanted the next round of stimulus to come in a quick and non-complicated fashion. In addition, the president has also indicated that he doesn't want another round of stimulus checks, and supposedly he wants a larger one than the $1,200 check proposed by House Democrats. Democrats have been vehemently pushing to extend the $600 weekly federal payment for those individuals who are collecting unemployment, and Republicans are strongly against it, saying that it would be a disincentive to return back to work. But there are actually some Republicans that are willing to compromise and perhaps bend a little bit. The next package will also include you smashing that like button. Be sure that you give the video a big thumbs up. Hit that for me. It will just help with that YouTube algorithm, sending more people to videos just like this. I do really appreciate it. It just supports me and my channel. So if you're getting value and you're enjoying the video so far, do click that like button. Thank you very much. Reportedly, Congress is getting close to striking a deal with unemployment benefits, but we'll have to wait and see what actually happens and how that plays out. The $600 payments are expected to end at the end of this month, July 31st. I actually discussed in a video that it might be a little bit earlier. I'll link that down below as well, discussing how the $600 payment may or may not be extended. It will end a little bit earlier for those people depending on which calendar dates that your state goes by. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who it's really up to him whether or not that would be passed, he has characterized the program as a bonus not to go back to work, and it makes it hard for people to get back into employment, suggesting that there could still be some friction on the extension. McConnell would be for liability protection, though, in the next stimulus package. This would be protection for businesses lasting 5 years. He said, and I quote, "No bill will pass the Senate without liability protection for everyone related to the coronavirus." But something that was a paramount concern, not just for the average American, but actually a lot of people commenting on my very own videos, they were asking about this rumored $40,000 income cap that McConnell has supposedly suggested. McConnell hinted at this $40,000 income cap for the next stimulus check earlier in the month when he said, quote, "I think the people that have been hit the hardest are people who make about $40,000 or less. Many of them work in the hospitality industry. That could well be a part of it." This struck fear in a lot of Americans. Millions of people would actually miss out on the next stimulus check if that income cap were to be implemented. But this wasn't just some arbitrary number that was thrown out in the wind. There is some basis to why this is the number that's being floated around. According to Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, 40% of U.S. households earning less than $40,000 lost their jobs in March. It's a staggering figure that looms even larger when you look at our unemployment charts. But the good news is that that cap is actually unlikely. According to a familiar source, they told Bloomberg that a cap at that level is not seen as likely. Instead, the cap would probably match something along the lines with the CARES Act or the HEROES Act that was proposed by Democrats, which we've covered in many other videos. All those links will be down below. I'm curious what you think the income cap should be on the next stimulus check. Do you think it should be along the lines of $40,000, or should it be the same as the CARES Act, $75,000 for individuals? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm curious to hear. In the proposed HEROES Act by Democrats in the House, that offered a stimulus check that was similar to the CARES Act, and it would be $1,200 to single filers or $2,400 to joint filers earning $75,000 or less, or $150,000 or less for joint filers, and those earning more than the limit would see their checks reduced by 5% for amounts over the limit, and you would get an additional $1,200 per dependent with a limit of 3. So those are the features of the HEROES Act, and that's already been declared dead on arrival. However, the next stimulus package will absolutely be expanded to more Americans, much more than the CARES Act covered. The difference between the HEROES Act and the CARES Act was that the definition of dependent was a lot more different and exclusive under the CARES Act. Under the HEROES Act, more people are declared dependents and they would be eligible for a $1,200 stimulus check for themselves. Another possibility with the next stimulus package, regardless of whether or not it's the HEROES Act, would be that there would be a much larger phase-out range. This would be to offer the greatest need to the lowest income earners, so even if it did have that $40,000 income cap, it would phase out at a slower pace than 5%. So in the HEROES Act, the range started at $75,000 and then your check was reduced by 5% for your earnings over $75,000. So for example, it's possible that the next bill could have that cap at $40,000, but instead of 5%, it would be a 2% phase out when your income exceeds that amount. In that hypothetical scenario, it would mean that a single filer would have to earn less than $100,000 per year, and they would be getting a smaller check, which is not too terribly far off from the CARES Act proposal, which set the upper limit of income at $99,000. This would effectively preserve a larger check for the lowest income earners and give them the most aid, but still offer some help to those who have larger families and higher income levels. Again, this is all speculation. We don't know exactly how the next check will be structured. These are all just ideas being thrown out. But on top of those theoretical income caps, Trump is now proclaiming that he would not sign the next relief package unless he gets his way and includes his payroll tax cuts that he wants so badly. This would mean that your paycheck will look a lot larger if the White House gets its way. Politico recently reported that Trump has said that to his own party he would not sign the next package unless it includes these payroll tax cuts. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was asked if the demand to include a payroll tax cut was okay with her. She said, "No, it's not. No, it is not." Payroll tax cut has faced opposition from both parties, and it would not be a long-lasting policy either. It would probably only be temporary, lasting perhaps 6 months to a year from now, but it will eventually disappear. There's also been a lot of concern, mostly from the Democrats and analysts alike, that it would have on Social Security and Medicare, as it would take funds away from both programs. According to the Social Security Trustees Annual Report, which was released back in April, it said that the trust funds could be depleted by 2035, at which point the system will be able to pay 79% of promised benefits. Medicare's funding for Part A hospital coverage is expected to run dry by 2026, and it would only be able to cover 90% of benefits. And on top of that, some experts think that the current economic crisis could make these shortfalls arrive sooner than later. In addition, we now have a supposed civil war within the White House arising. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is clashing against National Economic Council Chief Larry Kudlow, one of the nation's foremost supply-side economists. They're battling over a key provision of the fourth round of stimulus. Larry Kudlow has been a longtime advocate of lowering taxes as a way to promote growth, and he's pushing for the payroll tax cut, in which Trump is also in favor of, in order to spur economic growth after this 4-month-long recession that we've been going through. Kudlow has advocated for a payroll tax holiday or an elimination of the payroll tax and a so-called negative payroll tax, a wage subsidy that the government would give to employers who would pass it on to their employees as part of the next and probably final stimulus legislation before the November election. But on the other hand, Steven Mnuchin, who is a former Wall Street executive, has said that this will not pass Congress and will face great opposition from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Mnuchin would be more in line and in favor with another round of stimulus checks and an extension of unemployment benefits. Mnuchin is solely focused on getting a bill that Pelosi would agree with in order to ultimately get it passed and funded. But both Mnuchin and Kudlow do believe that another stimulus package is needed, as we are seeing a massive surge in cases all over the country. Kudlow is more conservative, whereas Mnuchin is more economically liberal, given his career on Wall Street. Mnuchin would be in favor of extending the $600 federal weekly payments for individuals already collecting unemployment in order to provide a safety net, whereas Kudlow has said that it is a vast disincentive to return back to work and he would not be in favor of it. He and a lot of conservative Republicans are mostly on Kudlow's side. We're still standing by for any new proposals or when the next package will be ultimately voted on in Congress. However, it has been said that we can expect the next package to come by the end of this month, by the end of July. For now, we have to remain patient. However, the next package will be coming sooner than later. That's a fact. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got value out of it, be sure that you do click that like button for me, smash it. Thank you very much. And if you'd like to see more videos from my channel, I do post videos every single week covering business, finance, investing, entrepreneurship, mindset, strategy, and tips and tricks from my own experience. Do click that big red button, the subscribe button. And if you'd like to be notified every single time I make a new video, so that you're first in line to see it before anyone else does, do click that little notification bell as well. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.